1 doesn't mean 1, 2 doesn't mean 2, 1 plus 1 doesn't mean 2, and you'd be saying, I'm happy, £1, 2 pence, it's okay, that's my salary. Would you? Would you? You trust your observation and your experience. Is that what you're telling me?
To a large extent, yes.
So you're saying,
so
you're saying, from what all the things that you've observed, have you ever observed information like a book like this happening by chance? So what would you then say? If I haven't observed, it is still possible? Or would you say...
Open-minded.
I think, so
the universe that you think is so big is actually maybe not that big,
So is there no universe?
Observed in detail a very minute...
Why do you say the universe is so big when your observation could be that actually it's not? It could be the opposite.
Saying there's no universe?
Isn't it?
Yeah. You're saying there's no universe?
I'm saying, according to you, there is no universe.
To the moon.
Yeah.
So why should we listen
I'm
to you?
saying you don't exist.
What if?
Okay, fair enough.
What if?
Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Who cares? You haven't been to the moon, so I don't need to
No.
listen to you. Nobody
Lloyd and Philippa, you both don't exist. You both don't exist.
My experience tells me otherwise, and it's been consistent.
So your experience can really tell you something which you take for fact.
Contradiction.
Is that right?
That's a contradiction, right?
Right. So Philippa, you're different from my friend Lloyd here.
That's a contradiction.
You are going to take something for fact.
Well, you just,
Is that right?
you're condescending his experience, but we're listening
Is that what
to
you're
your
saying?
experience, and you're saying
If
you're
your
right.
experience tells you that you think, and you said, therefore I am, therefore I exist, and it's a fact for you. Is that what you think?
I don't know if I agree with that statement, but if my
feel
experience...
real.
Do you exist?
I feel like I exist, but
Are
I
you
don't
sure?
actually know.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure?
So you're not sure you're existing?
Correct.
Do you exist? Are you sure you exist?
And all existence.
Don't get offended because you don't exist, you're not sure. So let me carry on
But do
speaking
you
to you.
exist?
So because it's possible,
how do you know you
it's
exist?
possible he doesn't
Exactly.
exist.
Do you exist?
So if I just ignore him,
right back
he
at
shouldn't
him.
feel offended because anyone that doesn't exist should not be offended. Lloyd and
Terribly.
Philippa, of course, don't exist in reality because they weren't sure, and now I've
do
made
you
it certain.
exist?
Now I've made it certain that they don't exist.
But do you
They are
exist?
certain that they don't exist.
Be careful.
They're-
Who said that anyway?
I said I think they exist.
No, you don't exist.
Do you exist?
Absolutely.
Do you exist?
I don't.
He said,
According to you, I don't.
He said,
So now, here are the
He said,
summary of this
do you
discussion.
exist?
When it comes to
You
reality,
won't answer. I've noticed that's
When
your
it comes
debate
to-
strategy.
when
You
it
don't
comes
answer
to-
questions. You
when it
only
comes,
ask questions.
I don't exist, my friend. What are you talking to
Very
me?
clever.
When it
Very
comes
clever.
to reality, about God and God's existence, about being good, being moral, about believing in heaven and hell, this is the super hyper radical stance people take because they don't want to subscribe to an organized religion, they don't want to worship God and so on. But at the same time, look at what he's wearing. Nice clothes, expensive
You wear nice
clothes.
clothes too?
Expensive. He perhaps,
That's nice.
when he goes for looking for a woman or girlfriend or wife, he's not going to go for the most not so beautiful. He'll try to go to which is in according to his likes and desires, isn't it? He will then be real. He would not say, you know what, it doesn't matter because you don't exist either, right? So when it comes to this mundane life, when he's about to eat, for example, when Philippa and Lloyd's going to go to a restaurant and going to eat, they might say, oh, this is a snail and a turtle and actually it's
It
not.
sounds like you're talking about yourself because
why is it
we say this.
So he would not mind because to them it doesn't matter what you eat.
This for your video.
because-
cut off the bit that we said.
No, I'm not going to cut off anything. No one's going to cut off. These are all channels. Don't cut off. Put it for entertainment for people to see what
making up
happens
stuff like that.
to people who leave the reality bubble and going to live in another bubble.
making up stuff.
So
You're making
when
up
he's
stuff.
going to
You
go
never
to
said.
a workplace or a university for studying, you know what? He's not going to go to thinking, you know what? My teacher don't exist. So why am I going to even bother listening to him? I'll sit there in an auditorium and a lecture which doesn't even exist. Why am I going to write an exam which is not even an exam, it doesn't exist? So, but he knows if he doesn't do that, he's going to fail the exam. He knows if he doesn't go at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock to his work, he's not going to get paid. He will work like a slave in that machinery thinking he exists,
But you're listening
but when
to
it
a
comes
guy
to...
that's never been left this planet.
Why is he feeling offended? He doesn't exist.
He's never been nowhere. I don't even think he's left South London.
So
But
because
so how would you know? How can you confirm?
How
things
can I
as
speak
if
to
it's
someone
the
who doesn't
universal
exist?
Truth? Like,
So-
so you're basically saying humans are the only one in this universe. Everything we say is correct.
Do you know
Everything
something?
you're saying is our logic. And
I
everything
know
else is
he doesn't
crap.
exist, but I'm
No,
getting this
come on.
vibe. There's some
No,
aliens
unsubscribe.
speaking to me from thin air. So because they don't exist, that's the treatment that we give. We don't talk to people who are non-existent, right? And they
But you spoke to me just now, so that means you're going mad.
non-exist. No,
Because you was, so people are looking at you going, like, so you must be going nuts.
so he exists now.
But you spoke to me.
I'm speaking to the ladies there.
Oh, do they exist?
Do you think he's certain he exists now? Because
Wait, yeah, do we exist?
Do they
Yeah.
Do you
exist?
think we exist?
of course I do.
Why do you think we exist?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Because our reality bubble is such that
Reality.
our experience and observations, we trust in them.
Our experience,
So when we
observations.
have our senses that we have, our eyes, our ears, our sense perception, our feeling of touch and smell, these are the things that we use in our everyday experience to understand the existence of things. For example, we can infer existence even of things that we don't see. For example, I haven't seen his brains, but I know he has a brain. Because I know to think, to talk, to argue, to discuss, to debate, you need this machine called the brain, which is the thing that does all that processing power. I know that you exist because I can see you. Yeah?
Based
So
on your senses.
I
Human
know that gravity exists even though I don't know what it looks like. I cannot smell it, I cannot touch it, I cannot feel it, but I know it exists because it has a strong attractive force on anything and bring it down on the center of this earth, on a bigger object. I know it exists by inference. So we operate our lives by in our learning to acquire knowledge by these various types. There is inductive logic, there is deductive logic. Tomorrow the sun's going to come up again. We have that faith because of the observation that we make every day. It's possible, according to people like our friends, that the sun would not rise again. It's possible. But we don't go with this belief system. We know according to all this. For example, imagine the three of your friends, right? You went into the room and you heard knock, knock, knock on your door. On the outside the door, it was only the two of them. Now, you're not going to assume it's Philippa and Lloyd's knocking on the door because you've just left your two friends outside the door. You would say, it's only you two. You can infer that it's them. So when she comes in, you don't have to be a PhD holder to think who's left. Is it Philippa or is it your friend there? You can automatically say, you are the only one remaining. So we can make all of this kind of our reality, observation, deductions, inferences. That's what we do maths. Why do we always say when our employer gives us money at the end of the day, £35 an hour, and you've worked 7.5 hours a day for 1 month, and you work out the numbers? Why do you trust those numbers? Why do you trust those numbers? So if it pays you now £1 and 2 pence instead of £4,000, you'll be happy with that because the numbers don't make any real sense, right? You'll be happy with the wages that you get. The contract was for £4,000 salary a month, for example, and they paid you £1 and 2 pence. And they say, look, the numbers, sometimes they change their meanings. 1 doesn't mean 1, 2 doesn't mean 2, 1 plus 1 doesn't mean 2. And you'd be saying, I'm happy, £1, 2 pence, it's okay, that's my salary. Would you? Would you?